In this how-to video, we will cover how to create a basic event using the Summit Events app. Summit Events has made creating a basic event easy, with lots of predefined settings. The first step is to create a Summit Events record. All events require Summit Event records as well as an Event Instant record. Since our Event Instant record inherits most of the settings from the Summit Event record, it makes the setup process a snap. Note that as you follow along this video, your fields may appear in a different order depending upon your page layout. We have a free community event that's happening later this year. When a person registers, they can register themselves as well as other people that will be coming with them. We don't need to know the names of the additional people, but we'll need to know the number coming as our venue only allows for 200 people. Now let's take a look at how we'll create the event. If you're not already in the Summit Events app, open it by clicking on the app launcher and search for Summit Events. Select Summit Events. Now that you have the app open, we can get started setting up our event. We'll start by clicking on the Summit Events tab, which brings us to the Summit Events Home tab. Here we'll click the New button to start creating our event. There are some important fields that should be completed at a minimum for a new event. First, we'll enter something in the event label. This becomes the Salesforce record name and is not public-facing. It should be something meaningful to you, such as the event name. If we don't populate it, it will default to the Salesforce record ID. We're going to call it the 2025 Harvest Community Event. Next, we'll enter the event name. This is what the registrant will see. We're going to call it the same as what we called the event label, 2025 Harvest Community Event. We'll select the event type from the drop-down, choosing engagement. This will make it easy should we want to create a report of all of our events that were typed engagement. The event type is a customizable pick list field on the Summit Events object. So if you don't like the out-of-the-box values, you can change them to suit your needs. It's important to enter a start and end date for the events. Since our event only happens once, we will enter the start and end date of this one-time event as 11/15/2025 for both. If we were having multiple events in this series, we would need to set the start and end date accordingly, where the start date is on or before the first event, and the end date is on or after the last event in the series. The event status field, along with other settings, control whether the event displays on the community-based URL calendar. So when you're ready to make the event live, make sure that you change the event status field to active. We're going to go ahead and set it now. The event template field controls the style of the event pages. We're going to leave the default style. We will also leave the defaults for most of the rest of the Summit event field. We do want to fill in a few additional fields. First, we'll add the location of the event so that people can find it. Next, we'll enter an event description and a short listing description. The event description appears on the first registration page. I'm going to use the same for both. We'll add some additional information in the Event Closed Display text field. This is what appears when the event is closed or no longer taking registrations. We'll set this to, "We're sorry, this event is no longer open for registrations." We'll configure the fields we want to collect from the registrant. The first name, last name, and email fields are required. Summit Events has supplied a bunch of handy optional fields that we can choose to show by simply changing a drop-down from Do Not Ask to Ask or Ask and Require. If we need additional information beyond these fields, we can use the Advanced Custom Question features. For now, we only want to ask for first name, last name, and email, so we'll leave the Do Not Ask default for the other fields. In the Additional Configuration section, we'll check the Allow Other Attendees checkbox and enter 10 in the Max Other Attendees field. This will allow the primary registrant to indicate that they are bringing additional guests and control the number of guests that they can bring. Next, we're going to enter some details in the confirmation page section. We'll set the confirmation page title field to Registration Confirmation and the event confirmation description to Congratulations, your registration is confirmed. This text appears on the registration page when they complete the registration. Since we want to allow people to cancel their registration as attendance is limited, we will add some information in the Cancel Review page section. We'll give the Event Cancel Review title the text Event Registration Cancellation, and we'll put your registration will be canceled in the Event Cancel Review description field. Lastly, we need to set up our matching rules so that Summit Events knows what to do with the registrant's information. Since we want to either create a new contact or match against an existing contact, we'll need to set up our matching rules. In the Contact Matching section, we'll choose Use Salesforce Duplicate Rule from the Contact Matching Rules dropdown, and we'll choose Standard Contact Duplicate Rule from the Contact Creation Duplicate Rule dropdown. We'll select Admissions in the Custom Metadata Contact Matching method. We'll leave the rest of the default fields. For more information on contact matching, refer to the Contact and Lead Matching page on the Summit Events documentation site. That's it for the Summit event record. We'll click Save, and next we'll set up our event instance. Starting on the Summit event record we just created, we'll click on the drop-down from the Summit Events Instances Related list and choose New. There are fields that should be completed at a minimum for our new event instance. First, we'll enter something in the event title. This appears on the registration page. We're going to call it the 12th Annual Harvest Community Event. We won't add event description, since our event instance will inherit the description we added when we created the Summit event. We'll add the event instance start date and time, and the event instance end date and time. Our event is on the East Coast, so I'm going to change the instant time zone to reflect that. We'll set the active status to active since we want this event instance to appear on my calendar. For capacity control, we'll choose registrant plus guest as we're letting our primary registrants register additional guests. We'll set capacity to 200 as that's as many people as our event will hold. The rest of the information will be inherited from the Summit event record we already set up, so we can go ahead and click Save to save our event instance. The last step is to verify that everything looks good and that the registration process functions as expected. From the event instant record that we just created, we'll click Register under the registration link field in the record page header. This opens up our registration page. Everything looks good on the registration page. Next, we'll fill out the registration form and click Register. My confirmation page looks good. Next, let's take a peek in Salesforce and double check that our registration record got created. Since the registration record resides on the event instance, we'll go to our event instance record that we created. Fantastic! I see my registration in the Summit Events registration related list. That was easy. We've created our first Summit event. Next, we'll want to create an email confirmation for our registrants to receive when they register. For help doing this, check out the Creating an Event email page on the documentation site. Thanks for choosing Summit Events.